I genuinely think that Hollywood wants me to cheat on my future husband. And
Oh yeah,
I'm not
probably.
being dramatic. Because according to nearly every romance movie ever, if my toxic ex-boyfriend shows up in the rain looking mildly regretful, apparently I'm supposed to throw my entire life away and run into his arms. And I grew up thinking that was peak romance, okay? 16-year-old me watched those scenes and thought,
How old are you? How old are you? You must be super fucking young if that's what you were thinking. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Okay.
yes, that is what
Okay.
true love looks like. Messy, desperate, and completely willing to destroy anyone who gets in the way. If someone leaves their fiancé at the altar just because their real love walked back into town, that is not betrayal, that is epic. And I didn't even clock how insane that is until I watched the new Wuthering Heights movie. As someone who had never read the book, I went into the film completely blind. All I knew is that it was supposed to be one of the greatest love stories of all time because that's how it was marketed.
Whenever I hear one of the greatest love stories of all times, I'm like, look, and I don't want to be sexist or anything, but like, is it one of the greatest love stories of all time that was written by a man or was it written by a woman? Because there'll be completely different love stories. I guarantee you that.
And about halfway through watching, I was sitting there thinking, wait, am I supposed to find this romantic? Because here's what's actually
The kind of behavior that created James Bond attitude towards women. Oh God, it did. Dude, there was an interview from a couple years ago, Sean Connery, where he's like in his 80s or some shit, and like one of the interviews was like, interviewers was like, well, would you still think that hitting a woman is okay now? And he's just without skipping a beat, he's like, yeah, it's necessary. Like, yo, that's hilarious.
happening. Catherine grows up alongside a boy named Heathcliff, and their connection is so intense to the point
Hold on. What'd you say his name was?
Catherine grows up alongside a boy named Heathcliff, and their connection
Yeah, Gigi, it's over for you. You're lucky you're in a white country. That name would not fly anywhere else.
is so intense to the point of being slightly unhinged. Every time they look at each other, you genuinely can't tell if they're about to kiss or start fighting. But then despite this connection, Kathy marries a man named Edgar. He's rich, he's kind, he's patient, he gives her everything she wants and more. Just the whole package. Compare that to Heathcliff, who is mean, dramatic, and incredibly immature. So at this point of the movie, I'm Team Edgar. It is literally a no-brainer. Let the girl have a happy, stable life. But then all of a sudden...
Whoa. You want a girl to have a stable life? That's ridiculous. We don't do that around here. They don't do that back then. Also, is that Margot Robbie? Because apparently there's like 4 other actors that look just like her, so I don't actually know. It was great. That makes some line. Oh my god. I have not read chat in so long. That makes him in line with the treat women as equals thing everyone's spouting. On God, it does. And it's crazy that if you do, depending on who you talk to, that's either a very good thing or a very sexist thing. And it's like, what exactly do you want then? Like, are you equal to me, or should I give you special kid gloves? Make up your mind. What are we talking about here?
Heathcliff shows up again and spoils all the fun. He's somehow even more unpleasant than he was before, and Kathy immediately falls for his toxic behavior. She likes him so much that she cheats on Edgar with Heathcliff in his own home multiple times.
In his own home is crazy. In his own home is crazy. Where, look, I'm not saying you should kill her, but like, I'm not gonna lie. If that happened in mine, Linda Hill 3, how you doing? If that happened in my home, you're getting shot. All right. But how'd the movie go? The movie was all right. Like, it was okay. I ended up moving half of the stuff here and then still having half the stuff at the other place, but then I didn't have internet here, so then I couldn't do anything. So now that I have internet, I can just do stuff. So, hell yeah. Now we're here. Dirty, on God. On God. Dirtiest of hoes. Filthiest of grimy bitch. For the fucking streets.
Shock when I realized that it's their relationship we're supposed to be rooting for. The movie frames their reconnection like it's the universe finally correcting itself. Edgar's feelings? Irrelevant, we're not supposed to care. After the movie was over, I genuinely felt like my frontal lobe had fully developed. Because now all I could think about was how almost every single iconic love story involves some type of cheating. And that's not an exaggeration. The Notebook, cheating. The Office, cheating. Titanic, cheating. You
wanna know what's really crazy? Actually, hold on. Before I go to that part, I don't know if this one is cheating technically, because that's a B. Okay, that's a B. Okay, I mean, like, emotionally, I suppose we could consider that cheating, but like, if my girl had come to me and been like, I've been emotionally cheating on you with a B, I'd probably send her to the psych ward. That sounds ridiculous. Does it not? Does that not sound ridiculous? I hate to excuse my frontal lobe. It is a weird one. It's also starting to get used a lot more. But like, I'm telling you, yeah, you know, I cheated on you with a B. Like, you're going to the psych ward. You sound insane. You like jazz? Where was it?
Story involves some type of cheating, and that's not an exaggeration. The Notebook, cheating. The Office, cheating. Titanic.
This one. Now, I don't know if I have the story correct, but from what I heard, what I was told, apparently she was gonna be forced to marry somebody else regardless. Like, she actually wasn't in a relationship with the guy. Like, her family met another family or something like that, and they were like forcing her to marry somebody. So instead, she got railed by a homeless dude that she ended up killing at the end of the movie anyway. So it's like, is that really cheating? Is it? I feel like, I don't know. I might have the story wrong, but like, I feel like I don't know if that's cheating or not. She was? Oh, she was engaged. Oh, okay, that part. Okay, well, yeah, I guess that is cheating. I'm telling you, hoes like cheating. That is what it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna stay single for the rest of my life.
Cheating. So today I want to do something very simple and very petty. I want to expose the classic ways that movies romanticize cheating, the tropes, the tricks, the framing, and why it's getting worse. Because it is getting so much worse. So buckle up, because at the end of this video we will finally get the answer of why Hollywood is so obsessed with cheating. One of the main things that annoy me is how these movies treat cheating as this super common thing. Because the only thing I've ever cheated on is a workout plan. I'll wake up thinking, okay, today is the day, and then 2 seconds later I'm like, maybe tomorrow is better, and then tomorrow becomes next week, and then suddenly it's March. And it was only recently that I
it's March now.
The reason why I kept pushing off exercising wasn't because I didn't want to get fit, it's because I was doing it alone. That's why I started using Trainwell. What I love about Trainwell is that it's not just one of those fitness apps where you're dumped on a random plan.
God, I'm not sure how to feel about those videos. She's not proper right now. She got the nose. Yeah, right. I had that in the back of my head. I was just like, I don't know. Let's see where she goes with this. Chat, let's see where she goes with this. Because at one point, she's kind of spinning right now. But also with the nose, Ricky would just assume that she's just okay with it. You know what I mean?
And left to fend for yourself. It's a one-on-one personal training experience with an actual real human trainer who adapts to things as you go. I'm paired with Jill, and she has me doing things.
That's crazy.
Cheating gets framed as basically inevitable, like these two people were always going to end up with each other, and
I don't want to take her code.
If that was never a part of the plan. The most classic example of this is The Notebook. I know, everyone loves this movie. Ryan Gosling and Golden Hour Light.
I'm about to say, who the fuck is everyone? I keep hearing that. The frontal lobe is gonna explode. Oh god, dude. And I don't know a single person who's seen this, and like, I know some women never seen it either. So it's like, why do people just like it because he's in it? Are people just really into this whole cheating thing? This is another thing that I also thought was weird too, that a lot of cuck shit is getting like normalized. Like, if you look at porn, like, a lot of it's just like cuck shit now, and like stepsister shit, and it's like, yeah, it was kind of interesting as a taboo, and it was kind of funny, haha, the joke, and now everyone's just kind of like doing it, and it's like, what are we talking about here? It was funny at first, but now I'm starting to think like, these two people might actually be related. I don't like that.
Building her dream house entirely out of love. It's a lot, and I fell for it too. But I need you to actually sit with what happens in this movie, because I feel like so many of us have been blinded by the love that we missed how genuinely unhinged it is.
They end the cheating, yeah, they really are.
With Noah meeting Allie for the first time at a fair. Well, meets is a generous term. He basically notices her in this huge crowd and immediately decides that she's the love of his life. Which, a bit extreme, but whatever. Unfortunately for Noah, she's there with another guy. Now, most normal people would immediately clock that and take it as a sign to just move on. But Noah is operating under a different philosophy, something along the lines of, just because there's a goalkeeper doesn't mean I can't score. He asks her to dance. She says no.
It's a very bad way of thinking, but that is 100% on God. That's true. That's just one of those thoughts you don't go through with, obviously. Unless you're that guy, unless you're this guy, because that's what he does, and I don't know why. I've never met a guy who likes the only women. True.
Ask her again, she says no, and again, and again, and again, and again. But
so he's a creep. I didn't realize he was a creep. That's kind of weird.
Instead of giving up.
Then again, I'm a guy. Oh, shit.
He watches her get on the Ferris wheel with her date, decides to climb and dangle on the outside of it, yelling that he will let go if she doesn't agree to go out with him. And the movie plays this off as if it's the most romantic moment of the century.
Bro, he suicide baits? Okay, so I only knew parts of this movie. You mean to tell me this man literally suicide baits in minute 1, and you're still like, this is a romantic movie? Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but if a man scaled a Ferris wheel because I rejected him, I wouldn't be thinking, oh wow, this is fate. I'd be thinking, where are the police? And can we just acknowledge that this only works because he's Ryan Gosling? If this was literally any other man, it wouldn't be a romance movie, it would be a crime documentary. Thankfully, Noah isn't a complete psychopath, and they go on to have a really cute summer romance together, filled with boat rides, kisses in the rain, and doing the deed in a haunted house. How romantic.
Yeah, man,
But their
you'd be
love
easy.
would soon be torn apart after
Oh, yeah, thanks for
Allie's
stopping by.
parents didn't approve of her dating someone from a
What
lower
the
class.
fuck?
They have a big fight, Noah drives off, and they don't speak to each other for 7 years. 7 years! In that time, Allie moves on, falls in love with a man named Lon, and they end up getting engaged. What's interesting is that most movies would frame Lon as this nasty partner so that we wouldn't feel as bad for him when he eventually gets betrayed, but The Notebook doesn't do that. Lon is kind, patient, emotionally mature, and you can genuinely tell that he loves her. His only flaw is that he's not Noah. That is it. Her relationship with Noah, on the other hand, was immature and chaotic. They were constantly fighting, hating each other one day and then making out the next, a pure emotional whiplash. The movie looks at these two options.
Interestingly enough, I've noticed that, what is it? When people start fighting in relationships, I've heard women be like, that's toxic, but they can't get away from it. But then when they're in a relationship with someone who isn't toxic, they find it boring. So I feel like they're confusing. They seem to be confusing, what is it? Like in toxicity with like, I had it phrased in another video. I forgot. It's been so long. What was it? Oh yeah, they're confusing toxicity with passion. So where you think if you don't have one, it's just not the other. And it's just like, well, that's not really how that works. Also, I would hate to spend a whole bunch of time with somebody that I'm constantly having to yell at. But I mean, I guess that's just me.
The stable adult
That's
loving
just me.
relationship versus the absolute roller coaster, and goes, yeah, the chaotic one is the true love, which
Apparently.
is quite a problematic message when you think about it. Anyway, then one day right before their wedding, Allie sees a photo of Noah in the newspaper standing in front of the house they used to talk about as teenagers. She then immediately decides that she needs to go and check on him just to see if he's okay. She
passed out.
tells Lon that she's going to take a little trip back to her hometown, but doesn't tell him why or where exactly she's going. And Lon, being the good man he is, just completely trusts her. Poor, clueless Lon. She shows up at Noah's house, gets welcomed with open arms, and they spend the week together. And by together, I mean together, while she's engaged days before her wedding. And from this cheating, she then comes to the realization that Noah is the man she wants to marry, and not Lon. Really? It had to take you sleeping with him to realize that? Thankfully, this movie does do something right, and it makes her go back to Lon and tell him the complete truth, which in a normal world, this would be where everything implodes, because any normal person would go absolutely ballistic if they found out that their fiance just spent the week before their wedding sleeping with their ex. So sitting there, you're bracing for Lon's anger, but it never comes. Instead, we
So he's
get
a cuck.
this.
It's normal not to forget your first love. I love you, Allie. I don't want to have to convince my fiance that she should be with me.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, hold on. He seems to have the 100% mentality of you can have her, bro, type mentality, which I totally get. I totally get that. Or it's like, yeah, he said I should not have to convince someone to be with me. That you should want to, and it seems like you don't want to. So like, I kind of get it. I do kind of get it. And it would make more sense if he was mad and then came to that realization, but then also at the same time, on the same wavelength here. Like, wait, hold on. You mean to tell me that you don't want to be with me? You're going to be with somebody else. Okay, well, at least you told me, so thanks for that. And now you can leave. All right, fine, sure, whatever, because I'm not going to sit here, and I don't want to have to fight for forever just to keep you by my side while the other guy just exists and you already want to be there. That's ridiculous.
A little trip down memory lane came with a bed and breakfast at her ex's house, and his response is basically just, I want you to be happy. Like, what? He reacts like he's losing a parking space, not a wife. And that is just so convenient for this movie, and actually the main point of this video. Because if he was furious, we'd be forced to sit with the fact that she cheated. We'd have to see the damage it caused. But since he's gentle and kind instead, the betrayal gets reframed as bravery. She's not leaving a man she hurt, she's choosing her soulmate. The film basically pats you on the head and says, relax, it's fine. Now look.
Yeah, not gonna lie, he's gonna kill himself. he's probably gonna fucking kill himself. Let's be real here.
Look at Ryan Gosling in the rain. Now I know what some of you super fans are probably thinking. What about the letters? Basically, if you haven't seen the movie, Noah wrote down.
We're looking at how cheating just seems to be a plot point in a lot of like the romance stories that women seem to like. And so since The Notebook is like one of the most famous ones, she was going over this one first. But also, where's homeboy? Wait, this right here.
It's normal not to forget your first love. I love you, Ellie. I don't have to convince my fiance that she should be with me.
That right there. That is so, to me, that is so valid. Because I do not want to have to sit here and convince someone to be with me at all. That seems ridiculous. You need to want to be here. If you don't want to be here, fucking leave. It's still a little weird that homeboy right here decided to just like be cool with it. You think he'd be mad, but he said that and they just fucked off. So hey, whatever. I would have been pissed, but I would have told her to fucking leave. But I essentially said what he said, just a lot more angrier. Yeah, I was like, poor dude. And I was like, this guy, he's probably gonna kill himself. With how gentle and how like nice he was about it, yeah, probably would have shot himself in the head. Where was I again?
Shift, because there is a sneakier version of this trope. Emotion.
I think I'm too far.
But she finds out about these letters, about the letters. She's not leaving a man she hurt, she's choosing her soulmate. The film basically pats you on the head and says, relax, it's fine. Now look at Ryan Gosling in the rain. Now I know what some of you super fans are probably thinking. What about the letters? Basically, if you haven't seen the movie, Noah wrote to Allie every single day for a whole year, but she didn't respond, so he gave up thinking that she moved on. In reality, her mum hid the letters from her because she didn't want them to be together. And yes, that is genuinely sad, and yes, I do think it matters to the story. But she finds out about these letters after she sleeps with him. The letters aren't even the reason she cheats. They're just the thing the film hands you afterwards so that you feel better about what happened. I just think the wildest part of this movie is that no one ever treats what Allie did like it's bad. There is one time where her mum attempts to call out her behavior, but it gets immediately flipped around.
You came down here. You knew what you were doing. You knew this would happen.
Oh, so now I'm a tramp.
Yeah, kinda.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because apparently someone pointing out the harsh truth is worse than sleeping with your ex whilst you're engaged.
Yeah,
The
like, what the
audacity
fuck?
is genuinely impressive. I almost respect it. So that is destiny cheating. It hands you a justification, the letters, the history, the first love, and it uses it to make the cheating feel not just acceptable, but inevitable. Like the universe demanded it.
Crazy.
And once you notice it, you see it in absolutely everything. But not all cheating in romance movies looks dramatic. Sometimes it's just a little emotional shift. Because there is a sneakier version of this trope. Emotional cheating. To fully explain this.
See, that's what I was talking about earlier with the B movie. Because it's like, I need to rewatch the B movie. But again, if somebody came to me and told, if my woman came to me and told me that I've been emotionally cheating on you with a B, I'm sending her to the psych ward. Are we not? Are we not doing that? I don't know. But what do you guys think? What do you think? What do you think is worse, the physical or the emotional cheating? Because I know some people that would say emotional cheating is worse.
We're going to talk about one of the most popular sitcom shows of all time, The Office. More specifically, we're going to look at Jim and Pam's relationship, which a lot of people consider to be built on cheating. This again is going to be very controversial because everyone loves Jim and Pam.
Wait, but wasn't it though?
If you were to ask me a year ago if I thought their relationship was morally wrong, I would have said hell no. But after rewatching the show this year, my opinion has completely changed. What happens in that show is absolutely—
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't she with this dude? This dude ended up being kind of like a bitch, so instead of like breaking it off with him immediately, she kind of just like was leaning more on Jim, like during most of that. Isn't that what happened? I don't know. I might need to go back and rewatch this too.
But it just goes to show how TV shows can reframe anything and make us root for it. Season 1 of The Office is only 6 episodes long. 6! And in that time, the show somehow gets you fully invested in a relationship where one person is engaged to someone else. In the literal pilot, Jim tells us that he has feelings for Pam. He's always hanging around her desk, he's always trying to make her laugh, just super flirty vibes. And for the most part, this is all done in a way that could be passed off as, oh, they're just good friends. But then you have the lingering looks, the grabbing hands, the play fighting. And it's not just Jim, Pam clearly plays into this dynamic as well. There's even a moment where Jim briefly starts dating someone else and Pam gets weirdly distant and jealous, which is not the reaction of someone who you see as just a friend. Quick background information, Pam's fiance Roy actually works in the same office building, just in the downstairs warehouse. And look, I know this is gonna be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but Roy is not a villain. He's not abusive, he's not cruel, he is just a really bad boyfriend.
Man, I would be all over that if I wasn't dating Pam.
Yeah, like, I don't, you know, because you see shit like that, and like, that's what made you think that, yeah, I kind of don't care that, you know, she cheated on him, because, like, dude's kind of a dickhead, you know what I mean? So, like that, because, like, all cheating is wrong, right? You want to say all cheating is wrong, but then you see this guy, and you're just like, is it really? Is it really?
We're not dating,
Also, this dude was weird.
we're engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never used to tell Pam how nice she looked, except if she asked. And once at our senior prom.
The show frames him this way on
Jesus.
purpose, keeping him flawed enough so that we can convince ourselves that Pam deserves better. Is he
Right.
the perfect boyfriend? No.
Not even
Does he
close.
deserve what's coming to him? Absolutely not. Season 2 is where things get really crazy. It opens with the Dundies, which is the Office's annual award show held at Chili's. They're all drinking, the vibe is
Chili's.
awkward, and it looks like everyone's just having a very miserable night. Especially Pam, who gets into a fight with Roy, who then storms off and leaves. So to deal with this, she starts drinking more and more and more and more. Can you
Heavily.
tell where this is going? In her drunken state, she kisses Jim on the lips, which is crazy. I completely forgot that this even happened. The show immediately brushes it under the rug. As the show goes on, the two of them get closer and closer, which leads them to cross a few awkward boundaries that I will never get out of my brain.
Oh my god, hey, put me down. Hey!
I actually can't even look at that scene. It gives me so much secondhand embarrassment. Anyway,
That is pretty
the moment
cringe.
the whole show has been building up to, the season 2 finale. Basically, Jim pulls Pam aside and tells her he's in love with her. Not I have feelings for you, not I think we should talk. No, he tells her he loves her. Pam immediately
I was about to say, you gotta drop that weight on here. You gotta drop that weight, especially if you were already doing this kind of stuff. If you said I had feelings for her, she probably could have brushed that off. But if you say love, women love emotions.
looks like a deer in headlights, unable to process what she's just heard. But she tells him that she values their friendship more than anything in the world and immediately shuts it down. So as you can see, this was dealt with in a really mature way with absolutely no cheating. Oh wait, no.
I'm about to say psych.
And
Psych.
I'm not gonna act like this isn't one of the most romantic moments in television history because it absolutely is.
Is it?
2 seasons of slow burn build-up leading up to this moment. The show made us want it so badly. But when you actually stop and think about how this is an engaged woman weeks before her wedding, it doesn't seem so romantic. Season 3 is where the show seems like it actually might confront what happened. Pam calls off her wedding with Roy but still stays with him. Jim transfers to another branch and starts dating a new character called Karen. It's very obvious that they still miss each other and want to be together.
Remember back in the day when you could name someone Karen and people didn't immediately think that lady's a bitch? Remember that? Karen's been ruined. Kyle's been ruined. Karen's been ruined. There's some other names that I think that have just officially been ruined, and you just can't name anyone that anymore. Well, Adolf. Adolf's been ruined for obvious reasons.
But they can't face what happened between them. So the only real consequence they face is distance from each other, and the show frames that distance as sad rather than deserved. We never actually stop and think about why they're in that situation in the first place. But things get even more complicated when Jim's new branch shuts down, sending him and his new girlfriend Karen back to Scranton. Almost immediately, Karen starts getting the Roy edit. And what I mean by that is that the show starts to make her look like a problem. Not too much, but just enough. She's a little insecure, a little little tense, a little why are you still clearly in love with your coworker? Which, to be fair, is a completely reasonable question.
I'm not saying that's understandable.
Like she's being difficult. Later on in the season, the guilt of what happened starts eating away at Pam, and she decides to confess the truth to Roy, which obviously doesn't go down very well. Roy is so enraged by this information that he storms into the office and physically attacks Jim. And look, I know that violence is never the answer, but I mean...
I don't know. See, violence is the question and the answer is yes, but fair enough.
Blame him? For years, he just knew that something fishy was going on between them, and he gets proven right. And for the first time in the show, we actually see the full weight of it. It acknowledges that this was real damage done to a real person. But then guess what happens next?
Brush under the rug.
He's fired, and we pretty much never see him again. Because it's much easier to ship Jim and Pam when the person they hurt isn't in the frame anymore. Season 4 is basically the show going, congrats, you waited long enough, here's your reward. Jim and Pam are finally together. They're happy, they're cute, and they never once have a conversation about how their relationship actually started. No accountability, no reflection, nothing. And then a week after they...
Also, I wonder what the fuck happened to Karen, because I forgot about that. Yeah, because now... It seems, yeah, they're just okay with fucking people over, because it's like, yeah, this is what the story, like, suggested.
Officially started dating, Jim buys an engagement ring. A whole week. And she says yes, which is the biggest giveaway of all, because you don't move that fast unless you've emotionally been there for years. Of course, the office didn't invent emotionally cheating, but it did package it beautifully. It doesn't frame Jim and Pam as two people crossing lines, it frames them as soulmates stuck in inconvenient timing. And that's exactly how emotional affairs get justified in real life. We just couldn't help it. It was too real. It just happened. We had no control over it. The show builds an entire love story on that logic and makes it look gorgeous, so of course we fell for it. But emotional cheating only looks romantic when the camera is following the people.
I was about to say, I mean, like, who is we? I always thought it was weird that they were together, but I mean, they still were, so it's just like, okay, I guess. And I'm also thinking, when they have kids, then what? It's like, because I know your kids are gonna ask. Because then it's like, you're probably gonna lie to them, right? You're gonna have to lie to them at that point. Granted, I would hate to have to do that, but hey, I guess that's just what you're doing.
I mean it. Film
Again,
from Karen
couldn't be
and Roy's
me.
perspective, and it's a completely different show. More like a horror story. Now that we got the big stuff out of the way, I wanted to quick fire through some of these other cheating tropes because they are actually insane. Starting off with the 2024 movie Baby Girl, which is an absolute masterclass at
Never heard of it.
empowerment cheating. We follow our main character Romy,
An
who is a
empowerment
girl
cheating?
boss CEO because, of course she is. She has a beautiful home, 2 daughters, and a husband named Jacob, who she's been with for years.
Is that Matthew Lillard?
The entire plot of this movie is that she's unfulfilled in certain areas of her marriage. Wink, wink. But instead of simply communicating that with her husband, she has an affair with her much younger intern. Someone get HR on the phone immediately. The movie
Hey, yo, she's
ends with
cradle
her
robbing.
sexual awakening and her just needing to find herself. And I'm
Hey, yo! Hey, yo, that's crazy. To do shit like that with an intern is insane. It's like, you could just go to FetLife if you really wanted to do that type of shit. You could just go to FetLife and find that and do it with a stranger and you never have to see him again. But you have to go to work with this guy. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're doing it wrong. Whatever.
say this
That
is
is
literally
weird.
the entire storyline of the movie. Them exploring this kinky relationship. Can someone please tell me when finding yourself meant
Real quick, is it like 50 Shades of Grey kinky? Because that shit isn't kinky at all. That's just like bare bones, like full face, you know, this is acceptable when you think about it, tee-hee type of shit. Like if we're really talking about kinky, like if we're diving into like my world, it's a completely different thing.
ending up in another man's bed? Not just another man, her intern. Oh, and you will not believe how this movie ends. Eventually, her husband Jacob finds out and, of course, is devastated. There's actually one genuinely powerful moment where he says that the life they built together just became the stakes that made their affair more exciting, which is such a painful and accurate observation. From there, they have an open and honest conversation about her desires in the bedroom, and then that's it. They make up, they live happily ever after. And this is where I lose my mind. Because if the solution this whole time was having a conversation with her husband, then what was the point of the
Oh, it's
affair?
Antonio Banderas. I think that's how that guy was. Oh god, I think that was Antonio Banderas. Yeah, but also, what the fuck? Why didn't you just... women are emotionally better, blah. They carry all the emotional labor. Literally decides not to talk to the person that you're spending your entire life with, your kids with. Okay,
movie
buddy.
is the definition example of this could have been an email. Now moving on, we have another trope called cheating but make it festive. Unfortunately, yes, I am talking about one of the best Christmas movies of all time, Love Actually. Even though it is my favorite.
What the fuck are any of these movies, bro? Like, what are we even on about? What have I joined, bro? So we're going over how Hollywood seems to really, really like the whole cheating aspect, and it's being pumped into a bunch of shit. And it just kind of makes you think that, like, when you see these movies and you see who likes these movies, it makes you think, especially as a guy, you should probably just stay alone for the rest of your life. And that's what I did. That's what I do. That's fucking ridiculous. I'm not trying to do any of this shit. Like, oh, get cheated on and then have to, like, fucking just sit there and be like, yeah, it's okay, whatever, dude. I still love you. Like, no, I don't. I want you dead, but I can't assault you because I'm a guy, and that's just like, and I don't want to like beat up your boyfriend either, because like that's also just like a waste of time. But like also at the same time, I'm just like super angry and disgusted that you decided to do shit. Yeah, I was about to say, like, cheating is wrong. Cheating's always been wrong, and I just don't understand why people seem to be okay with it. And like, it's so pervasive now. It's even in the pornography people watch now. I was saying it earlier. It's fucking insane.
There is no denying that there are quite a few
Also, never heard of this
moments. One of them being the storyline revolving around Juliet, who just married her boyfriend Peter. At their wedding, we meet Peter's best friend Mark, who has the job of filming their wedding video. It's clear from the jump that
Hey, it's Rick.
and Mark don't really get along that well. Juliet says that when they first met, he was
calling him
strangely
Rick.
cold towards her, which she just assumed meant that he didn't like her. It's awkward, but whatever. Not everyone gets along with their husband's best friend. Anyway, so Juliet goes to Mark's flat to pick up the wedding video that he filmed, but for some reason, he's weirdly hesitant about showing her. When she finally presses play, she gets the shock of her life. The tape isn't of the wedding. It's of her. Close-ups of her face, walking down the aisle, smiling, standing at the altar, frame after frame of just her. Which is
so he's a
really
creep.
insane, not just because this is his best friend's wife, but it's giving major stalker vibes. Fast forward to Christmas Eve, where we get this very famous scene. Mark standing outside Juliet's house with giant cue cards confessing his love for her, all the while Peter is literally inside the house. Just outstanding behavior from a best friend. At first you think, okay, creepy, but I guess he needed to get off his chest and be done with it. No harm done. But no, it gets worse. Juliet runs after him in the street and kisses him. I'm sorry, what?
Do you know? I'm confused. Did you not? Do you know him? I thought this was your. I thought this was your husband's friend. I'm confused, and you didn't like know him. So like, why are you guys always already sucking face? I'm confused. This is romance. This is what constitutes for romance. Really? Good lord. I guess maybe it's because I'm a guy, or I just have more than 3 brain cells. But holy fucking shit, what do you want about?
Going on? And then she goes back inside the house like nothing happened. Can you imagine if Peter looked out his window at that very moment, just got up to grab a drink and bam, saw that all unfold on the pavement? It is just insane, and I have never understood why that storyline is in that movie, because it's not romantic at all. But that brings me to possibly the most common cheating trope in all of romance cinema, the girlfriend that doesn't count. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't.
The main love interest has a girlfriend, but the movie clearly doesn't care.
Hey, babe, just some dude, I don't know.
Just some dude.
Now who's being nosy?
People We Meet on Vacation is the perfect example of this. Poppy and Alex are best friends who have taken a trip together every single summer for the past decade. They are clearly in love with each other, but neither of them will admit it. And hovering in the background this entire time is Sarah, Alex's girlfriend. Yes, he literally has a girlfriend. And the crazy part is, she's actually really nice. Her only flaw is that she's suspicious of Alex and Poppy's friendship throughout the movie, which, fair, that is completely understandable. Her boyfriend is literally going on annual holidays with a woman he is clearly in love with. In the later years,
Isn't that guy?
herself
I don't know why that guy kind of looks like Hugh Jackman.
and the four
Don't he look like Hugh Jackman?
going on this
That was a rock concert role, right? Two different guys with one woman. Which roles are TV is not right for women to watch the ones that are into. I think. Wait, what? The ones that are into it. I think that's normal. I mean, weird. Fuck a side note. It's like I don't watch that shit because it's always kind of boring. And now that I'm really thinking about it, I always thought like people don't like rom-coms because they're usually like sappy and shit. But I feel like if more men actually started watching rom-coms, they'd have a whole nother understanding as to why they wouldn't like them. So most of these shit's just cheating. Why is that? Where's the funny? Where's the haha? And where's the romance? Like, it's the only genre of a movie that usually never has either of the two in them, and yet I'm still supposed to sit there like a fucking seal and be like, oh my god, that was so great. What are you on about?
Couple's holiday. As you can probably guess, this gets pretty awkward. During the trip, Poppy randomly has a pregnancy scare and goes to Alex for comfort instead of her boyfriend. And you will never guess how the scene ends, by the way. Actually, you probably will, based on how this video is going. Yeah, they nearly kiss because
You really want something romantic? Watch something that revolves around only two people. Specifically, not three. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up watching something that it seems like there's only two people, because in the commercials there's only two people, and in the box that you see there's only two people or whatever, and then all of a sudden there's just like a third person, and just one of the dudes gets cocked, and it's like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's cool. I definitely wanted to see that.
Because of course they do. So then after this super intimate moment, what do you think Alex does the next morning? Break up with his girlfriend? No, he proposes to her. What is going on? Sarah of course says yes, completely unaware that her fiance almost killed.
Oh, what's this?
Going on. Sarah of course says yes, completely unaware.
Don't he look like Hugh Jackman? Am I fucked? Don't he look like Hugh Jackman? Every time I see him, I keep thinking Wolverine.
That her fiance almost kissed another woman a few hours ago. It is just one of the most all over the place plots I have ever seen. Eventually, Alex breaks up with Sarah, finally admitting that he does have feelings for Poppy, which, I mean, about bloody time. And then guess what? Just like The Notebook, Sarah takes this breakup and admittal of emotional cheating really well. I mean, it's not like she just wasted 10 years of her life, and I cannot stress.
You were with him for 10 years?
Nowadays, and we're supposed to root for the man? Absolutely not. But now I want to flip this entirely, because we've talked about cheating when the audience is supposed to root for it, but what happens when the male love interest cheats on the female love interest? Spoiler alert, it's completely different. Let's look at the rom-com He's Just Not That Into You, which follows a married couple, Ben and Janine. From the very start, you get the idea that they're a perfectly normal couple. Not toxic, not miserable, just normal. But then Ben decides to blow it all up by cheating on her with a yoga instructor. But the difference with this movie is that it doesn't try to make the cheating romantic, not even for a single second. There's no framing that suggests he was just following his heart or that it was inevitable. He's just a man who got bored and made a really bad decision. And when Janine finds out, it is ugly, and the film makes you sit in every uncomfortable second of it. You watch her fall apart, you feel the embarrassment of it. The movie treats cheating like the painful thing it actually is. And in the end, they don't just have an honest conversation which somehow makes everything magically okay, she divorces him. Now compare that to literally every other story we've talked about. Ali cheats on Lon, but it's framed as if he's happy for her. Alex emotionally cheats his entire relationship for the past decade, and Sarah doesn't really care. The exact same act is either epic romance or unforgivable betrayal, depending on who it benefits. So Hollywood absolutely knows how to portray cheating as the disgusting, gross thing it is, but for some reason, it rarely does. So the question—
I feel like it's just pushed on women because it's easier to get them to like see shit like that. It's like, yo, you want to make a quick buck? Just like make something like this, and who knows? One day it might end up being the fucking Notebook, and if it is, well, there you go. Now you've made a shit ton of money, and a cult classic. And I mean, granted, you've also perverted the minds of every woman who's ever seen it. But yeah, you know what? No one cares.
Is why is it so common for movies to romanticize cheating? And the honest answer to this is pretty simple. Cheating makes for a good story. It creates tension without writers having to do the harder work of building a relationship that's genuinely compelling.
Matthew Merrill, thanks for the follow.
On its own. Cheating also lets stories sell the fantasy
Welcome to the graveyard.
Of being chosen. That's the real drug underneath almost all of these plots.
Yeah, I'm starting to see why. I'm starting to see why men don't really go to the movies all that much unless we're seeing like 3 different things. Because I mean, if this is what makes a good story, like I must be the greatest fucking writer in the history of the world. If cheating makes anything great, this is kind of ridiculous, dude. But I mean, hey, okay, cool, whatever.
The idea that someone would risk everything for you, their relationship, their reputation, their entire life just for you. And when you frame it like that, it makes sense why this trope shows up constantly in movies aimed towards women. Not because cheating itself is the fantasy, but because being wanted so badly is. But there is actually a much deeper issue here, one that most people might not actually realize. It's called cultivation theory, and it suggests that the more you're exposed to the same type of storytelling, the more it shapes what feels normal to you. So when you grow up watching film after film where true love is treated as a free pass to cheat on your perfectly fine partner, you absorb that. And I know that sounds a bit dramatic, okay? No one watches the—
I don't even think that sounds dramatic. I think that sounds stupid. I just feel like you're a fucking retard if that's what you're thinking. Like, bro, if I see something over and over and over again that's wrong, it doesn't automatically at one point become right. It's like, you're whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I guess this is for people that have that problem, because I don't know anyone else who does.
The Notebook once and immediately thinks, okay, cheating is fine now. No, it is way more subtle than that. It's that you watch The Notebook, and then you watch The Office, and then Love Actually, and then People We Meet on Vacation, and slowly your brain starts building this picture of what love is supposed to look like. If your relationship is peaceful, it must be lacking. If it's intense and chaotic, it must be right. Because these movies don't just—
See, there it is again. See, they're confusing toxicity. Yeah, they're confusing toxicity with fucking, damn it, I said it earlier. I can't think of the word again. So they're confusing toxicity with companionship or something like that. What was the word that I said? God, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. But you know what I mean. Like, if it's not crazy, they don't care about you, they don't have any passion, so you don't need to be here. But if they're not yelling at you and you're not yelling at them, it doesn't seem like there's any passion to it. Doesn't seem like it has a vision for what they want to do. And so you just leave. Or you just cheat, which seems to be, they love to cheat. I don't know. Couldn't be me. I have shit to do, and I hate hurting other people, especially people that don't deserve it, and for, like, zero gain. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But, I mean, hey, man, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
Besides cheating, they tell us that if he doesn't dangle off a Ferris wheel for you, then it's not true love. And that is where it becomes a problem. Because real love is also loyalty. Real love is also honesty. Real love is also a boring Tuesday where nothing happens and you still choose that person. But Hollywood isn't interested in that Tuesday love because it doesn't make for a good movie. At the end of the day, the problem isn't that movies show cheating. The problem is that it asks you to call it romance. Because these stories aren't just showing us what love looks like, they're showing us what love excuses. And I'm sorry, but I'm done letting a slow motion kiss in the rain convince me that someone's partner is just background noise. And if you're gonna build a love story on betrayal, then show us the cost, actually let us see the consequences. Because if your greatest love story of all time only works because someone got hurt in the process, that isn't romance, that's just bad behavior with good cinematography. Let me know your opinions on this in the comments. If cheating is something that bothers you in movies, if there's one movie that sticks out to you where you couldn't get past the cheating, let me know. And if you made it this far and if you're against cheating, please comment the word loyal so I can see who the real ones are and I can like all of your comments. Don't forget to take the quiz at go.trainwell.net/Marina McBain to get matched with your personal trainer and start 14 days free. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.
Do all that. I'm gonna have to link this in the video and the description. We'll go from there. That's a good video. That is a good video.